It's Thursday, the 20th of May, 2021. The Stay Weather Podcast brought to you by Chugwater Chili. Did you know that Chugwater Chili now makes a hot version of their famous chili seasoning? For those of you looking for a little extra spice in your life, give Chugwater Chili a try. Unsettled is the best way to describe the weather here in the coming days, as we're just going to have a little bit of everything all across the region. But that's typical for late May. We're going to have an upper level low spinning in the western United States, impacting the weather through the weekend and into early next week. There is a severe weather threat, especially today. We'll talk about that. Cool and wet weather coming for northwestern Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, parts of the Dakotas. Those areas really need some good spring moisture, and they're finally going to get some. Some of that will be in the form of snow. Windy conditions are coming. Now, with this big upper level low coming, need to warn folks that there's going to be some wind across parts of the Intermountain West and in some areas that don't get a lot of wind, like the western slope of Colorado and parts of Utah. There's some windy conditions coming. We're also going to give you a Drought Monitor update as it just came out early this morning. Someone sent me this meme. I think this is a good way to describe what's coming. This is why it's called the month of May. And literally, this right here is what will happen from Montana to Colorado and other parts of the Intermountain West over the next 5 days. Here's the latest Drought Monitor. Now, some things to point out. You can still see there's tons of red, tons of yellow, tons of brown still, but we continue to see the biggest improvement in southeastern Wyoming and eastern areas of Colorado. That area is actually out of the Drought Monitor now. This area is still in the Drought Monitor, but notice it's not as brown or as red in southeastern Colorado now. So that's really good news there. Parts of western Kansas, the panhandles as well. But again, as we have seen all year, going back to last spring when the La Nina got started, you can just see all of this red across parts of the Great Basin, the Pacific Northwest, through the Southern Rockies, and then we still have this really bad area of dryness across parts of the Dakotas and still dryness in parts of Iowa. Now, as you're going to see in the maps I'm going to show you, there's going to be an arch of moisture in this area right here in the next 10 days that's really going to help out and bring some really needed moisture to those areas. But drought conditions, look at Wyoming, most of Wyoming and most of Colorado. You know, you take out this area, you take out this area, most of Colorado and Wyoming still in drought, as well as other western states. Now, here's the severe weather threat. This is for this afternoon. And mainly this is going to be from about 2 o'clock tonight, 2 o'clock this afternoon until about 9 o'clock tonight. The yellow area shows the highest risk of severe weather. This darker shade of green, a pretty good chance of thunderstorms. The lighter shade of green means a lesser chance for thunderstorms. What we have is you'll see in the upper level maps, we've got a big upper level low here. Counterclockwise winds around it is going to mean that we're going to have a fairly stiff southerly breeze, south to southeast wind coming into the region here. At the same time, the winds aloft are coming in at a different angle, like this. Now, when this happens, we have what's called a shear situation, where the wind direction and the wind speed is different at different altitudes. So close to the ground, the wind is from the south-southeast and quite strong. Above it, the wind is more from the west-southwest, and that, if you were to take a pencil between your two hands and then roll your hands back and forth, you would notice the pencil rolls. Well, that rolling impact is what causes the circulations to develop that helps develop severe weather. So when we get in environments like this, especially in the spring, where you have opposing wind speeds and opposing wind directions at different altitudes, well, you take that with moisture, daytime heating, it all lines up for that severe weather threat to be right there. Our biggest concern is going to be large hail and strong winds, but an isolated thunderstorm or two could produce a couple of tornadoes, especially in those yellow areas. So if you're in that yellow area, you need to keep your eyes on the skies this afternoon and evening. Put the car in the garage. It's due to this. This upper level trough, as of today, is over south central areas of Oregon. And instead of it swinging quickly through, it's hitting a brick wall. This big area of high is just going to stop this low from going east. It's going to make the low stall, then drift to the north. And look at this. This is today. This is 2 days from today. This is Saturday. Notice it barely moves and just settles into Nevada and spins around. So we have opposing pressure systems. Look at that. They line up almost extremely symmetrically well. We got this big high here, big low here, and the standoff, the difference between the air pressure between these two lows is going to cause a really strong southerly wind flow into the Rockies and high plains. That's why it's going to be windy, folks, but it's also going to transport good moisture to this area here, making that area wet. By Sunday afternoon, the low drifts north into western Montana, then eventually up into Canada. The high here weakens, but this low is going to go up, over, and around and not on through. Now, this is the precipitation forecast through next Tuesday. Look at all that orange in Montana, and look at the yellow in parts of eastern Idaho and west central and northwestern areas of Wyoming. These areas here are going to fare the best in terms of having the best chance of really needed precipitation, especially the Dakotas, especially northeastern Wyoming. Northwestern Wyoming here could really use the moisture as well. Southwestern Wyoming, which is still really dry, is going to get some, but not a lot. You know, this area right here continues to be a big concern. There is some enhancement in Colorado's southwest mountains for some heavier showers and thunderstorms. And this is the best moisture this area is going to see, has seen in quite a while, so good for them. The Wasatch Front of Utah going to get a little bit of precipitation, but really it's going to be more wind than anything. Taking a look at the snowfall forecast, you can see some pretty impressive snowfall amounts in Wyoming's western mountains that includes Yellowstone Park, up into the Beartooths, the Bitterroot of Montana and Idaho. You can see there's going to be some good snow up there. And even look at those snowfall totals in parts of central and northern Nevada, as those colder temperatures are going to cause snow levels to drop there. And you can see also a little bit of snow in the Colorado high country and the Uintas of Utah. Now, I want to talk about the wind. I'm going to step through the next several days here. And what I'm showing you is the peak wind gust. So those numbers you're seeing will be the peak wind gust. And there are two areas where we're going to have a lot of wind in the coming days. Out here on the plains in that southeasterly wind flow, and you can see lots of 30s there. Then on the western side of the divide, as that upper low comes in, the western slope of Colorado, California, Arizona, the Four Corners area, it's going to be windy. Winds gusting up to 40 to 50 miles an hour, and a really persistent wind out on the plains coming up from the southeast. This is today. This is tomorrow. And you can see the areas that are windy today are going to be windy tomorrow. Saturday, the winds aren't quite as strong, but they're blowing pretty good down here and still blowing pretty good across Utah and parts of the western slope of Colorado. And this is Sunday. As that upper level low moves north, we get some really strong winds over central and northern areas of Wyoming and out on the plains of eastern Colorado, western Kansas, and parts of the Dakotas and Nebraska. So that's why we say it's going to be unsettled, as we're throwing a little bit of everything at you, from snow in the mountains of Montana and Wyoming to wind on the plains to possible severe weather today. So we're going to give you the Miller Moth update. Thank you for your reports. They keep trickling on in. And here is our first map. These are where the Miller Moths have been reported so far across parts of Wyoming, Colorado, and Nebraska. And everybody who's reporting this is saying that they have just started to see them. So indeed, this is the week where it looks like they've been making their way across the high plains and into the Rockies. And with temperatures here warmer at the end of the week, you will likely see more coming our way. Don't forget to send your Miller Moth report to podcast@dayweather.com, and we'll put your report on the map, and we'll update that map for you in the coming days ahead. Also, want to invite you to subscribe to the Day Weather YouTube channel. We're going to, in the future, later this spring and in the summer, be adding some more video features, including live streaming when we have a big weather event. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, Day Weather YouTube channel, and stay tuned for future updates. This update brought to you by Chugwater Chili. Don't forget to use Chugwater Dawn at checkout for 20% off. Have yourself a great Thursday. We'll see you on Friday.